She is a beautiful baby girl. She is healthy. She has a head full of hair. She's so beautiful. I think she has my eyes. I think she has my eyes, but can smile.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's life has been defined by deception, manipulation, and an unrelenting struggle to reclaim her own narrative. For years, her mother, Dee Blanchard, controlled every aspect of her existence, fabricating illnesses and subjecting her to unnecessary medical treatments in one of the most infamous cases of Munchausen by proxy ever documented. After enduring a childhood marked by medical abuse,
we are worried about the baby. There are growing concerns among many for Gypsy Rose's baby, Aurora, particularly regarding the possibility that she may have inherited 1q21.1 microdeletion. Some people worry that
Gypsy ultimately played a role in orchestrating her mother's murder, a desperate act that led to her imprisonment, but also freed her from years of torment. Now, after serving her time and attempting to start anew, Gypsy has found herself in the role of a mother.
Denial or ignoring the possible medical concerns. In a recent live stream, Gypsy Rose said that Aurora normally doesn't coo, but makes a snorting sound instead, and how surprised she was when the baby made a coo sound while watching a
Yet, just as she begins to navigate parenthood, there's growing speculation that she might be crafting a new narrative, one that conveniently dismisses or overlooks serious concerns about her newborn's health.
She is a beautiful baby girl. She is healthy. She has a head full of hair. She's so beautiful. I think she has my eyes. I think she has my eyes, but can smile. Like her little mouth looks like Camelot.
From the moment she announced her pregnancy, many were quick to wonder whether she could pass down her rare genetic disorder, 1q21.1 microdeletion syndrome, to her child. Given the nature of this condition and its potential implications, the scrutiny surrounding her baby's well-being has only intensified. When Gypsy first shared the news of her pregnancy,
I keep doing that though. If you go look at my story, I posted the, ID number if you want to follow me.
one of the primary concerns raised was whether her genetic condition would affect her child. 1q21.1 microdeletion syndrome is a rare chromosomal disorder associated with a range of health complications, including developmental delays, cognitive impairments, congenital abnormalities, and vision issues.
I don't know yet. I don't know. She has a baby nose, so I don't know yet. She's gonna have to grow into it for us to find out.
Some of which Gypsy herself has experienced. Naturally, many expected that she would take extra precautions to ensure her baby's health and undergo extensive medical testing. Gypsy has been adamant in her reassurance that her baby is completely healthy, citing a non-invasive prenatal test, NIPT, as proof that no abnormalities were detected. However, this statement is not as conclusive as she might believe.
We are worried about the baby. There are growing concerns among many for Gypsy Rose's baby, Aurora, particularly regarding the possibility that she may have inherited 1q21.
The problem lies in the limitations of the NIPT itself. While it can screen for certain chromosomal abnormalities, it is not a definitive diagnostic tool for conditions like 1q21.1 microdeletion syndrome. Experts emphasize that a more thorough analysis, such as chromosomal microarray testing or whole exome sequencing.
Some people worry that Gypsy Rose might be in denial or ignoring the possible medical concerns. In a recent live stream,
would be necessary to accurately determine whether her child inherited the condition. Yet, despite these widely known medical facts, Gypsy appears to have taken the NIPT results as the final word and has not pursued further genetic testing since her daughter's birth.
That Aurora normally doesn't coo, but makes a snorting sound instead, and how surprised she was when the baby made a coo sound.
What's even more concerning is the subtle contradictions in Gypsy's statements. On one hand, she confidently claims that her child is perfectly fine, but on the other, she makes casual remarks that raise red flags.
A Disney movie.
ever made before. Like the majority of the time she snorts. So it's like that. But this was like a little coo. It was like, ah.
She was so surprised, laughing, and thought it was funny.
One such instance was when she proudly mentioned that her daughter shares her eyes. While this may seem like an innocent comment, it becomes significant when considering Gypsy's own medical history. Her genetic condition resulted in vision impairment in one of her eyes. This naturally leads to speculation. Could her baby have inherited the same issue? Another remark that sparked concern was when Gypsy mentioned that her newborn snores while sleeping. While snoring in infants isn't always alarming,
As I touched on a little bit in a prior video, this could be a symptom of infant pulmonary sleep apnea, which is also a symptom of the 1Q21.1. So the information I'm going to share is in regards to the microdeletion.
it can sometimes indicate underlying medical conditions, including sleep apnea. Coincidentally, sleep-related breathing difficulties are a recognized symptom of 1Q21.1 microdeletion syndrome. Babies with this condition may experience irregular breathing patterns.
In a live stream, Gypsy said that she had the NIPT test done while pregnant and it came out clear.
So actually I've already had the I forgot what it's called, but it is a blood test to
Pauses in respiration, or other neurological complications. If her daughter truly does snore, could it be a sign of something more serious? And if so, why hasn't Gypsy addressed it with medical professionals or undergone further testing? The reluctance to acknowledge these potential warning signs leaves room for speculation.
for any genetic abnormalities, and that test has come back. Thankfully, no genetic abnormalities. The baby is healthy. I'm very happy to say that. It was, yes, maternity 21 months.
While the NIPT test can detect some chromosomal disorders like Down syndrome or even some small microdeletions, but cannot test for 1Q21.1, which is what she has.
Given the vast spectrum of symptoms associated with 1Q21.1 microdeletion syndrome, ranging from developmental delays and low muscle tone to distinct facial features, one would expect Gypsy to be highly vigilant about monitoring her daughter's health.
Has tried to say, including Miss Chip Chip, that what Dee Dee did was find out the symptoms of the chromosome disorder, and then she would use those symptoms to enhance them for.
Yet, there is no public indication that she has pursued any additional evaluations or screenings. This raises a troubling question. Is she genuinely convinced there's nothing to worry about, or is she deliberately avoiding the possibility that her child could have inherited her condition? Gypsy's own journey with this disorder has been complex. She has openly shared that she was unaware of her diagnosis until after she was released from prison.
Financial fraud, medical child abuse, whatever the heck you want to say it. Okay, there's lots of different things that everyone says. But what I want you to understand is something like this. So, the reason that they didn't know what actual chromosome disorder was,
meaning she spent much of her life being treated for conditions she never actually had, all while the one true medical issue she did have remained overlooked. Her experience with Dee Dee's abuse undoubtedly shaped her perception of medical care, something that may now be influencing how she approaches her own child's health. Adding to the growing intrigue, reports have surfaced suggesting that Gypsy and her husband's mother, Rena, have been taking the baby to the doctor on a weekly basis. While frequent checkups are normal for newborns,
issues and why they were looking at things like cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, all the different things that they had thought of and did tests for, is because they were at all times trying to identify what chromosome deletion she had. But herein lies,
especially those born slightly premature, the frequency of these visits raises questions. Is the baby being monitored for something specific? Could these visits be related to a suspected medical condition? And if so, why hasn't Gypsy openly addressed this? The inconsistencies in her statements, combined with the ongoing medical visits, create a conflicting picture. On one side, she insists her baby is completely healthy. On the other, subtle remarks and actions hint that there may be more to the story.
The first case of 1Q21.1 microdeletion syndrome was identified in 2008. This rare chromosomal change was discovered by
her daughter's snoring, the mention of their shared eye traits, and the frequent doctor appointments all point to the possibility that something is being left unsaid. Psychologically, Gypsy's reluctance to pursue further genetic testing could stem from a deeply rooted fear of facing reality. If her daughter were diagnosed with the same condition, it could bring back painful memories of her own medical history, memories tied to trauma, control, and suffering at the hands of her mother. The idea of confronting a potential diagnosis might feel overwhelming.
et al. While screening patients with developmental delays, autism, or congenital anomalies. It is a deletion of about 1.35 million base pairs in the Q21 region of.
Not just because of what it could mean for her child, but also because of what it might force her to acknowledge about herself. There's also the fear of public scrutiny. Gypsy has spent years trying to rewrite her narrative, distancing herself from the trauma of her past. If her child were to be diagnosed with a medical condition, it could invite unwelcome comparisons to her own upbringing, with some critics potentially questioning whether she is fit to handle a child's medical needs. Given how much of her life has been under the microscope, it's understandable that she might want to avoid that level of exposure.
Well, here's the thing with that. So they're saying, on average, it is about 1.35 million base, right? Gypsy has a 2.74 million base.
Yet, in doing so, she might be putting her daughter at risk. Avoiding a problem doesn't make it disappear. If her child does have 1Q21.1 microdeletion syndrome, early intervention is key. Developmental therapies, specialized medical care, and proper resources could help mitigate potential complications. Without proper medical attention, valuable time for intervention could be lost, potentially making future challenges more difficult to manage.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard was not abused. This is the chromosome disorder that she has. It's 1Q21.1 microdeletion. This is the poster child for this chromosome disorder. And let me show you with this poster child next to Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Gypsy has an opportunity to break the cycle to be the mother she never had. But that starts with facing reality, not ignoring it. If she truly believes her child is in the clear, there's no harm in confirming it with additional genetic testing. But if there's even a slight chance that her daughter has inherited 1Q21.1 microdeletion syndrome, taking proactive steps now could make all the difference. The real question is whether Gypsy will acknowledge these concerns or continue to push forward with the narrative she wants the world to believe. Parenthood is about making difficult choices, but the most important one she faces right now is whether she is willing to confront the truth.
This is the poster child of this chromosome disorder, and this is Gypsy Rose Blanchard to the right of me, the left of you, while she was in prison. Doesn't she look like that little...
No matter how painful it may be. At the end of the day, every parent wants to believe their child is healthy, but ignoring a potential medical issue doesn't make it disappear. Gypsy has an opportunity to break the cycle to be the mother she never had, but that starts with facing reality, not avoiding it. Denial won't protect her child, action will. So the question remains, does Gypsy truly believe there's nothing to worry about, or is she purposefully ignoring the signs? Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Gypsy is in denial, or is everyone just overanalyzing? I want to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss the latest updates and deep dives. I'll be back with more, so stay tuned. Until next time, take care and stay messy.